My name is Kevin Hines, and I'm here at Gardner-Webb University to speak about the things that I've been through, the rough, painful despair I've experienced and continue to experience living with bipolar disorder type 1 with psychotic features, which both of my biological parents, by the way, had before me in similar fashion. But back then they called it manic depression. And my birth parents had two kids, me and my only full-blooded brother, Jordash. And we were born in squalor on 6th Street in the Tenderloin in San Francisco in a crack motel. That's where my life began. Really, truly humble beginnings. And, my brother died, in the vicinity of me. We both got bronchitis. He passed in a foster home. And I was taken away from my birth parents for their illicit drug use and alcohol problems. And the fact that they left me and my brother unattended to go do score and sell those drugs. And, if I had stayed in that environment, I'd be dead or in jail. But I got lucky, unlike my poor brother who passed. I landed first in the home of a particular foster home, and then I was taken in by the Hines family. And Pat and Debbie Hines, although they have their flaws, are two of the most beautiful human beings on the face of the planet, and they're saviors. They're their angels. They've got hearts of gold. And when they were married, they had three kids from three separate families into one. They had three kids that they handpicked to be their own, and I got to be one of them. And they are my mom and dad. And growing up, I thought to myself, this is going to be my life. I'm going to grow up. I'm going to get into that good school. I'm going to get that great job my dad's always talking about. Neither of those things happened, by the way. But I'm going to do whatever my heart desires because I have opportunity and possibility because Pat and Debbie Hines, my mom and dad, made it so. But then at 17, it crumbled. This whole vision, this awakened vision of hope for my future crumbled. It crashed in the form of a defect in my brain. My brain broke. I started to have hallucinations, auditory and visual. Paranoid delusions so great I thought people were out to get me, trying to hurt me, trying to kill me on a regular basis. My first severe symptom, actually, of bipolar disorder was on stage in front of 1,200 people that I thought were coming to kill me. I thought they were going to rush the stage and take my life. It was the first time I'd ever had extreme paranoid delusions at that level. I'd been paranoid. I'd been acting erratically. But here I find myself looking out into the sea of people believing every single one of the man, woman, child is there to take my life. I ran off stage. In the middle of the play, I was one of the leads. I run into the lobby, and the story of John Fennell is that he's in the back of the room of the theater. Not one seat is open. He runs to the lobby. He sits me down in the theater treasurer's chair, and I was the theater treasurer. He says, Hines, can you please finish the performance? It's not even intermission yet. What are you doing? And I couldn't speak. I couldn't articulate words. I was stuttering and stammering 3 words in a row. It didn't make sense. He called my mom. And my mom comes to pick me up. And I'll never forget the look in her eyes. I could see that she could see the depth of insanity brewing behind mine. And I'll never, ever, that face sometimes I see when I close my eyes. Because it was the face where everything changed. And I would end up in the next 2 years on this rocky road of tumultuous episodes of skyrocketing to manic euphoric natural highs and crashing into dark abysses of depression, these dark abysses where I feel like there's this cloud over my head, rain, hail, sleet, snow, and it's never stopping. I believe I'm the only one. But in fact, there were so many people just like me, millions of them all around the world, but I had no idea. I was feeling alone, surrounded by a sea of people who cared. And so I kept all my pain to myself. I internalized all my pain, and I was quiet about my pain. This rocky road, now leaving my mom's home, being kicked out of there at 18 on my 18th birthday, porch closed on the porch in the rain, and I don't blame her. I scared her. I was bigger than she was after football. I was punching holes in every drywall. She removed the door of my room. On my 18th birthday, she said, "Kick rocks, get out of here." And this is, you're talking about a woman who was so bonded to me from childhood, from when she took me in. You're talking about a woman who is a consummate optimist, always smiling from ear to ear. Whenever stuff goes sideways, she's still smiling and finds some way to make an optimistic statement about it or sing an optimistic song. And then I broke her. I shattered her vision of who her son was, and it was devastating to her. And we've never recovered. And then at 19, while living with my father, I couldn't take the weight of the lethal emotional pain anymore. Because that's what leads people to suicide. Lethal emotional pain. Emotional pain is so great that you feel like it is a weight on your shoulders you cannot hold or bear any longer. mental brain pain. Brain pain is 300,000 times worse at the very least than any physical pain I've ever experienced in my life. And I jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and shattered 3 vertebrae. And that was excruciating. But that stuff never came close to the enemy I battled within. And so at 19, that's what happened. I got so depressed, so filled with darkness. Dr. Thomas Joyner calls it constricted thinking. I saw tunnel vision, and I saw no light at the end of that tunnel. Was it there? Yes. Did hope exist? Absolutely. I just hadn't walked far enough to reach it, and I didn't know it. And I didn't recognize at that time, that my thoughts do not have to become my actions. If I knew that on the bridge, standing there looking over with my tears falling to the waters below, I would have never done what I did. If I knew that just because I'm thinking of suicide, just because the auditory hallucination is telling me to take my life, it doesn't mean I have to listen. What it means is that I have to turn to someone who cares, empathizes, loves me, protects me, and say 4 simple but effective words that mean it. I need help now. And if this person in front of me won't help me, I'll go to this person or that person. And today, anyone who asks me if I'm okay is going to get the real answer. But it took me a long time to fight through the mental pain, to get past the point of my attempt to go from a wheelchair to a walker and a back brace to a back brace and a cane after my 10.5-hour surgery that replaced my shattered vertebrae, 3 of them with titanium. I missed severing my spinal cord that day by 2 millimeters. Millimeters. Swam to the surface 70 feet in one breath without the use of my legs because all I wanted to do was live. Bobbed up and down in the water, and then something started to circle beneath me, something large and slimy and alive, and I thought, you got to be kidding me, it's a shark and I'm going to die. It's going to bite my leg off. But it doesn't bite me. This thing just circles faster and faster, faster. In fact, no longer am I wading in the water. I'm lying on top of my back being kept buoyant by this thing, thinking to myself, this is one hell of a nice shark. I would go on a television show a year later promoting a suicide prevention campaign, my first. I would say in the campaign I thought there was a shark beneath me in the water. People wrote into the show from all over the world. One man's letter stuck out above all the rest. His name was Morgan McWard. He was from Las Vegas, Nevada, and he said, Kevin, I'm so very glad you're alive. I was standing less than 2 feet away from you when you jumped. Until this day, watching this show, no one would tell me whether you lived or died. It's haunted me until now. By the way, Kevin, there was no shark like you mentioned on the show. But there was a sea lion. And the people above looking down believed it to be keeping your body afloat until the Coast Guard boat arrived behind you. Now you call that what you want, that's my miracle. Not to mention the fact that the woman driving by when I jumped saw me go over and called her friend in the Coast Guard from her car. The reason they got to me within less than the time I'd sat in hypothermia and drowned. Not to mention when I get to the hospital, I'm entering the emergency ward as one of the foremost back surgeons is leaving. He opts to stay and performs a surgery on me that is in a medical journal. It's the first and only of its particular kind. And it didn't reject the medal. He saved my back and saved me the ability to walk and run. So, if I get to be here after what I did, I learned very quickly that I have to talk about it so that others can do the same. So I can inspire people, no matter who they are, no matter what abuses or neglect they've dealt with, no matter how hard their life is, that they can fight the pain, in spite of the pain, despite of the pain, to thrive every day. Because pain can do one of 2 things. Pain can lead us to thinking we're suffering, or pain can build us. You're intended to be here until your natural end. Fight the pain, in spite of the pain, every day, and thrive someday. Wishing you well. Good luck. You got this on lockdown, and I will support you. At Kevin Hines Story. Holla at your boy.